Hello friends, how are you doing? And I hope you really are all having a great time. Okay, so did you revise the chapter mineral nutrition? I hope you're done with your notes and all, and let us do some questions on the NEET pattern exercise of the mineral nutrition, right? It's a very good interesting chapter. You have to know about your plants, the environment around you, the people around you, and some girls and boys around you. Okay, jokes apart, let us come. Nitrifying bacteria. Yes, nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen is a very important mineral required by the plant. Okay, it is present in the soil, and the nitrogen present in the atmosphere has to be got down to the soil by the process of nitrogen fixation. Okay, so what we will see here, let me collect some chalks for myself. Yes, so nitrifying bacteria. Yes, what are these nitrifying bacteria? Nitrifying bacteria. Now these nitrifying bacteria, they convert the the atmospheric nitrogen, or you can even say ammonia into nitrite and nitrates, right? These bring about the conversion, right? These bring about the conversion of ammonia. These bring about the conversion of ammonia into nitrite and nitrate compounds. Okay, so these bring about the conversion of ammonia into nitrite and nitrate compounds. Okay, so what we see, these are the nitrifying bacteria, convert the free nitrogen. So what first of all, what will happen? The ammonia, first of all, ammonia will be converted to nitrite. Ammonia will be converted to nitrite. Okay, that is NH3 will form into NO2 minus. This is the chemistry equation, and your chemistry teacher will tell you better about this. If you have good bonding with your chemistry teacher, yes. Okay, jokes apart. So the examples of these bacteria which convert the ammonia into nitrite are Nitrosomonas, Nitrococcus, right? Nitrococcus, Nitromona, Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus, and the second one which we will see, that nitrite into nitrates. Nitrite into nitrates, that means NO2 minus will get converted to NO3 minus. And here Nitrobacter and Nitrocystis can be some of the examples which can be cited over here. Example will be Nitrobacter and Nitrocystis. Okay, Nitrobacter and Nitrocystis will be the examples over here. So nitrifying bacteria, first what they are doing, they are converting ammonia into nitrite, and then from the nitrite they are converting into the nitrate. Okay, the best examples, Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus for ammonia into nitrite and nitrite into nitrate. We will see the Nitrobacter and the Nitrocystis. So hence what will we see? The nitrifying bacteria, what are these? They oxidize ammonia to nitrates. Okay, they are oxidizing ammonia to the nitrates. So this will be the correct option over here. Let us move on to the next question. Nitrogen fixation in root nodules of Alnus. Right. So, that's why we have seen that nitrogen fixation is very important, because nitrogen fixation means what? Converting the atmospheric nitrogen, the dinitrogen, okay, converting the atmospheric dinitrogen into compounds of nitrite and nitrate, and this is happening by converting it through ammonia. So, this atmospheric nitrogen is finally coming to the soil in this form. It cannot be in the gaseous form in the soil. So, it has to come in the soil. It is coming to the soil in this form, and that is what we mean by nitrogen fixation. We all know that, yes, in the root nodules. So, in plants, in soil, say, which are rich and deficient, which are deficient in nitrogen, which are having less or lack of nitrogen, they have to have the nitrogen. Nitrogen is a very important NPK, whenever we are preparing fertilizers also, we will see that there is NPK fertilizer given to the plants, that is nitrogen, then this is phosphorus and potassium, 3 very important mineral constituents required by any plant. That goes to show that nitrogen is very important. So, how will that nitrogen come? If it is less or otherwise also, it will come by nitrogen fixation. Now, nitrogen fixation mostly is done by leguminous plants, okay, and we will see that they will form structures. They will form structures, the root nodules, they will form structures called the root nodules, which will be formed by the leguminous plants for nitrogen fixation, okay. So, we will just write this down. Nitrogen fixation, okay, nitrogen fixation is brought about by root nodules, in leguminous plants, Okay, nitrogen fixation is brought about by root nodules in leguminous plants. It is also seen in some non-leguminous plants like alnus species. This is very important, this is important. This is all, this was just to wake you up in case you were sleeping, okay? And in case you are already awake, then I get alert. So this is also seen, this is also seen in some non-leguminous plants, okay. So this is also seen in some non-leguminous plants like the alnus species, okay, like the alnus species. Now what is happening here, a cyanobacteria called the Frankia is, actually helping nitrogen fixation by forming the root nodule. So here the cyanobacteria Frankia, cyanobacteria of blue-green algae, okay, the cyanobacteria Frankia forms the root nodule, and helps in nitrogen fixation, right. So here the cyanobacteria Frankia forms a root nodule and helps in nitrogen fixation. So nitrogen fixation in root nodule of alnus or ulnus is brought about by the frankia, right. Now we will move on to the next question. Right. Which one of the following elements is not an essential micronutrient for plant growth? Right. We all know that essential nutrients can be divided into the micronutrient or the microelements and the the macronutrient. The micronutrient which are less required in less amounts, and the macronutrients which are required in more amounts. Now we all know that, okay, if you look at the table, manganese, zinc, copper, calcium, that calcium is a macronutrient, okay, is a nutrient which is required in great amounts. Okay, it forms the middle lamella, this is required for the formation of many enzymes, and it forms a part of the membrane as well. Okay, so calcium is an important, right, calcium is an important macronutrient, is an important macronutrient. Calcium is an important macronutrient required by the plant, okay, is an important macronutrient required by the plant. It is involved in membrane formation, right, in membrane formation, right. It is required in involved in membrane formation for the formation of a number of enzymes, for formation and activation, for formation and activation of a number of enzymes, of number of enzymes, right, for formation and activation of a number of enzymes. So hence calcium is a macro element or a macronutrient and not a micronutrient. Okay, we'll talk about the next question. We'll talk about the next question and we'll see a plant requires magnesium for, yes, magnesium is an important also constituent of the plant, okay, that will be required by the plant for various things. But since for this we have to know all the functions of magnesium. So if these types of questions, it's better to take one option each option one by one. Holding cells together, not really required by magnesium. Protein synthesis, we do not need this. Chlorophyll synthesis, yes, chlorophyll, magnesium, the central molecule, magnesium forms the central atom of the molecule, forms the central atom in the chlorophyll molecule. So magnesium forms the central atom in the chlorophyll molecule. Right, magnesium forms the central atom in the chlorophyll molecule, and hence what we will see this, that right, cell wall development also is not required. So a plant requires magnesium for chlorophyll synthesis. A plant requires magnesium for the chlorophyll synthesis. The translocation of organic solutes in sieve tube members is transported by P proteins, mass flow involving a carrier and ATP, right? Cytoplasmic streaming and root pressure and transpiration pull. Definitely root pressure and transpiration pull, that root pressure will lead to the, that will also lead to a pressure, okay? The root pressure, which is more in, in humid conditions, and when the night is there, the root pressure increases, but that's a different thing. Cytoplasmic streaming, also called as cyclosis, also leads to movement in some. But look at the second option, mass flow involving a carrier and ATP, the translocation of organic solutes, right? So whenever there is translocation, what is translocation? Movement from one place to another, okay? Whatever the substance, the carbohydrate, is manufactured by the plant, that carbohydrate, that gets dissolved, that forms a, that forms a solvent, or that forms a solution, with water, and is translocated from the leaves to the other part of the plant, okay, in sieve tube members, which is the phloem, right, is supported by mass flow involving a carrier and the ATP. So the process requires energy, and it is because why? Because it is against the concentration gradient. That is also called as the mass flow hypothesis, right? The mass flow hypothesis. Moving on to the next question, passive absorption of minerals depends on, right? So the mineral ions, right, the mineral ions are absorbed passively. The mineral ions are absorbed passively along with combination of water. Okay, the mineral ions are absorbed passively along with combination of water by dissolving in them, by forming a solution with them. Rather than dissolving, we can write by forming a solution with them, by forming a solution with them. So the mineral ions are absorbed passively along with combination of water by forming a solution with them, okay? The mineral ions are absorbed passively along with combination of water by forming a solution with them. And this happens along the concentration gradient, and this happens along the concentration gradient, by the simple diffusion, So where is this taking place? This is actually taking place in the roots, when the water is moving inside the root cells, along with that water, the dissolved solutes also move inside, the dissolved minerals also moved inside, and they are conducted through the xylem vessels, to the different, where they are transported to the leaves and to the other parts of the plant which requires water. Okay, and since water is more outside, in the soil as compared to inside, the mineral salts are again more inside than the outside. So the concentration being more outside inside, and diffusion we know is from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration across a semi-permeable membrane, and this will not require energy, and that is why passively, hence we say that passive absorption of minerals, okay, is by diffusion. And also it depends on temperature, right? Passive absorption of the minerals will depend on temperature, right? Let us move on to the next question, that is enzyme involved in nitrogen assimilation, right. The enzyme involved in nitrogen assimilation is the nitrogenase, we can say the nitrate reductase, right, transferase and transaminase. So, it is talking about the nitrogen assimilation, right. Now, what will we see here, that the dinitrogen molecule is converted or reduced by the addition, okay, the nitrogen molecule is converted or reduced by the addition of hydrogen, to it, and forming ammonia and other compounds, right. The dinitrogen molecule is converted or reduced by the addition of hydrogen to it and by forming ammonia and the other compounds. This happens in the presence of enzyme called the nitrate reductase. In the presence of enzyme nitrate reductase. The enzyme nitrogenase also comes into play, but later on, when this ammonia is converted to other products, the enzyme, the nitrogenase also comes into play, right. The enzyme nitrogenase also comes into play, okay. The enzyme nitrogenase also comes into play when further reduction is taking place, okay. So, enzyme involved in nitrogen assimilation will be the nitrate reductase, right. Let us talk about the next one. In plants, inulin and pectin are what? Now, inulin is a polymer of fructose, right, and pectin is what? Pectin is a mucopolysaccharide, that is when the fruits ripen, this is one which is supply the carbohydrate or to the fruit. So, inulin, this is the 8th question we are doing. Inulin is a polymer of fructose, right, and similarly pectin is a mucopolysaccharide. So, pectin is a mucopolysaccharide right? Inulin is a polymer of fructose and pectin is a mucopolysaccharide which is hydrolyzed and mobilized to fruits, right? Okay, so as you can see, both of these, inulin and pectin, which are present in plants, are actually the reserve food materials, the first option. Okay, so inulin and pectin are the reserved food material, right? Moving on to the next question. The plants grown in magnesium deficient but air urea sprayed soil would show what? Deep green foliage, early flowering, yellowing of leaves, right, and loss of pigment in the petals. Now, we have already said, there is magnesium deficiency over here. What it is saying? Magnesium deficiency over here. So, plants growing in magnesium, okay, plants growing in magnesium deficient soil, right, plants growing in magnesium deficient soil would not be having enough chlorophyll, right, would not be having enough chlorophyll, and hence there would be chlorosis, that is the yellowing of leaves will be seen, and hence there would be chlorosis, that is yellowing of leaves. Okay. So, plants growing in magnesium deficient soil, the plants growing in magnesium deficient soil would not be having enough chlorophyll, and hence there would be chlorosis, right, and hence there would be chlorosis, that is there would be the yellowing of the leaves. So, that is what the option is, the yellowing of the leaves. And one thing also you see, though we are giving the urea sprayed soil, that is we are giving nitrogen in a way, we are supplying nitrogen, but the magnesium is not there, which is very important constituent of the plant. Right. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following is not caused by deficiency of mineral nutrition? Right. Necrosis, chlorosis, etiolation, and shortening of the internodes. Right. Now, etiolation, this is due to the plant growing in the dark, and such plants would be lacking chlorophyll. This is due to plants growing in the dark, and such plants will be lacking chlorophyll. Right. Okay. So, the correct answer for this will be etiolation, that yes, not caused by the deficiency of mineral nutrition. Right friends, so I hope you've understood things, and any doubts you can always come back to me, right? We in the next session we will come up with some next set of questions. I hope you did enjoy this and have a nice time till the time we meet again. Thank you.